Jackie, I want you to take this package to this address. It is very important that you give this package your utmost attention. If I find out that you're loafing around at that cafe again, stuffing your face, oh...
Don't worry, grandfather. I'm on my way.
Okay, boss, we're on to it. Well, get it and bring me the old man.
You're going? Isn't that your grandson?
Grandfather! Look out! Keep the chase!
Jackie! Oh, go after the truck! The package, Jackie! Jackie! The package!
Grandfather! Grandfather!
Salutations to all you wonderful people out there, and welcome to yet another episode of old school gaming from your childhood that reminds you of just how old you really are and some interesting tidbits of information you may or may not have heard of before. In today's fine episode, we'll be starting off with a look back at what is, in my opinion, one of the best games to come out on the PS1 console. The beat-em-up platformer starring everyone's favorite Chinese guy, Jackie Chan, the game in question being Jackie Chan Stuntmaster, which was developed by Radical Entertainment and released in the year 2000. Unbeknownst to many, this game was in fact Jackie's second attempt at trying to tap into the video game market, with the first one being the Kung Fu Master Jackie Chan, or Jackie Chan in Fists of Fire, The Legend of Jackie Chan, released in 1995 for arcades and was developed by a Japanese developer, Kaneko. That game was absolutely trash though, so don't ever expect me to feature it in any of my videos.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Let's rather focus on the vastly superior Jackie Chan Stuntmaster, and yes, I'm sure you can tell by now that I really like this game, even if other people may disagree. The happier moments of childhood memories are flooding back as we speak.
What a day. You look lonely. I can fix that. You look like a good show.
Jackie Chan supposedly decided to be involved in the development of the game due to the absolutely disappointing end result of Kung Fu Master Jackie Chan.
Hey, it's OG Lo, homie, and I'ma kick a little something like this. Hey, yo, when I come through up in the place, you don't want me to come with a gun in your face. I spit it hotter than anybody in the world could do.
That
it's
shit
like
sucks. Damn.
The game's story revolves around the kidnapping of Jackie's grandfather, the owner of a package delivery company, by a New York-based gang. Jackie must then use his wits and martial arts skills to fight his way across various stages, which include Chinatown, the waterfront docks, a sewer and subway system, city rooftops, and industrial area factories, with a final bonus stage of the Shaolin Temple being unlocked if the player manages to collect all the dragon head icons hidden in each level. So now that we've got all that gaming trivia out of the way, let's talk about today's topic, which is also about the famous Kung Fu actor Jackie Chan, or rather the life-threatening experiences he had with Hong Kong's criminal underworld, which is ruled by the infamous Triads. For those of you who may be thinking, what the f is a Triad? Well, in short, it's basically the Chinese Mafia. However, the history behind the Triads runs far deeper than that, with them having their roots in ancient Chinese secret societies and martial or religious sects. Do not worry though, I will make a more detailed video on this in the future. To tell the tale of how Jackie almost got whacked by the Triads, we need to talk a little bit about the man himself and his upbringing in the former British colony of Hong Kong, and his eventual rise to stardom on the international stage. Jackie Chan was born on the 7th of April 1954 in British Hong Kong, with his birth name being Chan Kong Sang to his parents Charles and Li Chan, who were both political refugees from the Chinese Civil War, which ended in 1949. In the 1930s, Chan's father, originally named Fang Daolong, briefly worked as a secret agent for Lieutenant General Dai Li, who was a member of the Chinese National Party, also known as the Kuomintang or KMT, which still have a presence to this day in Taiwan. For fear of being arrested by the communist government, who were gaining more and more control of mainland China during the Chinese Civil War, Chan's father fled to British Hong Kong in the late 1940s and changed his name from Fang to Chan. Chan being his wife Chan Li's surname. Just a quick note about Chinese surnames. Unlike much of the rest of the world, Chinese surnames or family names tend to appear at the start, with the individual's birth name following afterwards. In Jackie's case, his Chinese name was Chan Kong Sang. Kong Sang being his birth name and Chan being his surname or family name. Jackie would later, however, change his Chinese name to better suit his father's original family name, to Fang Shilong, since his father's original name, as mentioned earlier, was Fang Daolang. In 1960, his father emigrated to Canberra, Australia, to work as the head cook for the American Embassy, and Chan was sent to study at the China Drama Academy in Hong Kong, a Peking opera school run by Master Yu Jim Yun. Chan trained rigorously for the next decade, excelling in martial arts and acrobatics, while also getting his ass beat constantly by Mr. Yu. He eventually became part of the Seven Little Fortunes, a performance group made up of the school's best students, gaining the stage name Yun Lo in homage to his master. Chan became close friends with fellow group members Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao, and the three of them later became known as the Three Brothers or Three Dragons. After entering the film industry, Chan with his Peking opera buddies Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao started training in various forms of martial arts ranging from boxing, judo, taekwondo, hapkido, kung fu and karate to help better prepare them for their roles in action films.
Let's show them what the Chinese are made of. Take care of Sylvia. Right.
向我發脾氣，我都未發脾氣，冇咁大力推我得唔得？我係咁大力㗎啦！大鼻仔，你喐手，死宅日子，打你唔使分時間添。
Chan joined his parents in Canberra, Australia in 1971, where he briefly attended Dixon College and worked as a construction worker. A fellow builder named Jack took Chan under his wing, thus earning Chan the nickname of Little Jack, later shortened to Jackie, which has stuck with him ever since. Jackie actually got his very first film role in a 1962 movie called Big and Little Wongton Bar, as well as playing extras in other films from the 60s like Come Drink With Me and A Touch of Zen. He would also go on to star as an extra in two Bruce Lee films, namely Fist of Fury and Enter the Dragon, with the help of his older Peking opera brother Sammo Hung, who by this point had already begun to make a name for himself in the Hong Kong industry, having already worked as a fight choreographer and director, and even obtaining a couple of minor roles in films like Hapkido and The Tournament, which both featured Kung Fu starlet at the time Angela Mao in the lead. After the death of the great Kung Fu dragon, Bruce Lee, Jackie would start to get a bit more of a spotlight on him. He would end up doing choreography for a young director John Woo's 1974 film, The Young Dragons. John Woo being the famous Hong Kong director who would end up making all those super cool action movies like Hard Boiled, A Better Tomorrow, Bullet in the Head, and The Killer, which got a remake last year, and creating an entire new action subgenre that became known as Gun Fu.
我而家仲可以控制大局。如果你唔承認自己失敗嘅，就一齊同我打返轉頭。呢個世界冇被逼呢回事嘅。Fuck you！ 前面只有條出路，我要你幫我一齊打出去。如果我哋唔打，我同你都會死喺呢度。 你个大爷的，谁有路没变账？我记得零。
Anyway, after Jackie's success in doing fight choreography for multiple chop-socky kung fu films in the mid-70s, he caught the eye of a film producer named Willie Chan, no relation.
Well, I'm Ruckus, Uncle Ruckus, no relation, and I work for Mr. Wansler,
who would introduce him to famous Hong Kong director Lo Wei, who was also responsible for Bruce Lee's first two hit films, The Big Boss and Fist of Fury. Little did Jackie know just how much of a dickhead Lo Wei really was, despite being such an influential film director, and that he would be brushing dangerously close with the infamous Hong Kong Triads. Lo Wei's plan was to try and make Jackie into the next Bruce Lee, since at that time, after Bruce's death in 1973, there was this increasing obsession with trying to fill the vacuum left by his sudden demise. Hong Kong film directors wanting to cash in on the late Dragon's success started to try and make films starring actors that kinda resembled Bruce Lee or could at least mimic his mannerisms, which they would then try to market as authentic Bruce Lee movies. These films would later become known as Bruceploitation films, and this silly trend would last in one form or another until the early 1980s. The young and desperate to be star, Jackie Chan signed a contract with Lo Wei and would star in a film called The New Fist of Fury, which turned out to be an absolute box office failure because Jackie simply could not do what Bruce Lee did. None of the f***ing Bruce Lee clones could. There was only one Bruce Lee, and why it took them so bloody long to figure this out, I will never understand. Despite the film's failure, however, Lo Wei continued producing films with similar themes, but with very little improvement at the box office. Sometimes they just never learn, do they? Chan's first major breakthrough though was in the 1978 film Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, shot while he was loaned to Seasonal Film Corporation under a two-picture deal. Director Yuen Wu-ping allowed Chan to have complete freedom over his stunt work. The film established the comedic kung fu genre and proved refreshing to the Hong Kong audience. The same year, Chan then starred in Drunken Master, which finally propelled him to mainstream success. Upon Chan's return to Lo Wei's studio, Lo tried to replicate the comedic approach of Drunken Master by producing the films Half a Loaf of Kung Fu and Spiritual Kung Fu, both starring Jackie Chan. He also gave Chan the opportunity to make his directorial debut in The Fearless Hyena. But if I have to be completely honest, having watched most of Jackie Chan's filmography because I'm a huge fan of kung fu movies, these three films are probably the worst movies he's ever starred in. But I could wager that this is more to do with the seemingly absolute narcissist Lo Wei rather than Jackie Chan himself. When producer Willie Chan left the company, he advised Jackie to decide for himself whether or not to stay with Lo Wei. During the shooting of Fearless Hyena Part 2, Chan decided to break his contract and decided to join Golden Harvest. And that, my friends, is when shit hit the fan, and Jackie found himself becoming a target of the Hong Kong criminal underworld. Lo Wei, obviously not being very pleased with this, decided to then contact his buddies in the Hong Kong Triads to try and threaten and even blackmail Jackie Chan into resuming his contract. The Triad gang in question being one of the largest in Asia that still operates to this day. called the Sun Yi On, who were also featured in 2012's Sleeping Dogs video game, however being renamed as the Sun On Yi. The entire incident became so intense that the Sun Yi On even began threatening members of Golden Harvest, including its founder Raymond Chow. Jackie Chan himself has over the years tried to wildly embellish the story by claiming he hid in the United States and armed himself with guns and grenades, and at one time facing off against 20 Triad gangsters armed with machetes. I guess there's a little bit of Steven Seagal bullshittery in everyone.
Can I laugh in your face?
However, in reality, Jackie was forced to turn to the only person in the Hong Kong film industry that could actually assist in the matter, and that was the famous and sometimes infamous Jimmy Wang Yu, who not only had become a big star across Asia even before Bruce Lee, thanks to his roles in Shaw Brothers classics like The One-Armed Swordsman and The Chinese Boxer, but was also himself rumored to be a member of a different Chinese triad organization called the Bamboo Union, which hailed from Taiwan, but which had a presence in Hong Kong as well. In order to deal with hardened criminals, one must become a criminal. Or something. That sounded better in my head.
How come you suck?
I lack confidence.
Jimmy would arrange a meeting with the Sun Yi On Triad, Lo Wei, and Golden Harvest in an attempt to broker peace and to get that asshole Lo Wei off Jackie's back. If he had failed, then Jackie would not have become the huge international star he is today, as his career would have been cut short by a lethal dose of lead poisoning fired from a Triad assassin's pistol, or maybe they would have gone with the messy route and turned him into chop suey by way of machetes.
I want him dead! I want his head cut off and brought here! I want his head on this piano! Got that?
I will bring you his head and I will place it on your piano.
During the meeting, things went a little south and an altercation ensued between members of the Sun Yi On and the Bamboo Union, but thankfully, the Hong Kong police force arrived just in time to save the day. It's unclear what exactly happened in that meeting or what led to the altercation, but in the end, Jimmy did manage to set Jackie Chan free of that leech Lo Wei as well as the Sun Yi On, and was rewarded with a handsome sum of money from Raymond Chow for his assistance. And under the new management of Golden Harvest, Jackie would go on to become the massive star he is today, making many films that involve him beating the ever-living crap out of Triad members such as the Police Story movies and the Rush Hour trilogy. I guess it was his little way of dealing with the trauma of that harrowing experience with them in the 1970s at the start of his career. Jackie was so grateful to Jimmy for his help that as a favor, he made 2 cameo appearances in 2 of Jimmy's films. One of which is called Island of Fire and another one called Fantasy Mission Force in 1983. Don't bother watching it though, it's terrible, trust me. Even after Jimmy Wang Yu's death in 2022, Jackie would pay his respects and once again show his gratitude by saying that if it wasn't for Wang Yu, he probably wouldn't have been around today and have had the successful career that he did. If you want to know more about Jimmy Wang Yu himself and his association with the Bamboo Union Triads, I will link to a video by Forgotten Street's YouTube channel that did a great breakdown on the topic. Other than this incident with Jackie Chan, the various factions and gangs of the Hong Kong Triads in the entertainment industry for quite some time. Another well-known Hong Kong actor who you may have also seen in some Jackie Chan films from the 80s such as Project A2 was Michael Chan Y Man, who has openly admitted to being a member of the 14K Triads and may still have ties with them to this day despite already being in his 80s. Other Chinese actors that have had negative experiences with the Triads back in the day would include Jet Li, whose first manager, Choi Chi-ming, was assassinated by a rival Triad gang outside his office in 1992. Hong Kong actress Karina Lau, who is the wife of the famous actor Tony Leung, who starred in Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings in 2021, was kidnapped in the late 80s by Triads after she refused to star in a film that was being produced by a production company that was owned by them. Andy Lau is yet another actor who was forced at gunpoint to star in the film China White in 1989, which again was being produced by filmmakers associated with the Triads. And even today, 28 years after the handover of Hong Kong from Britain to mainland China, the various Triad gangs still have a grip on the famous Chinese port city, except at this time many of them have changed allegiances and are rumored to have become the muscle of the Chinese Communist Party, as evidenced by the violent crackdowns they engaged in during the 2019 anti-extradition protests that took place in Hong Kong over a new law that would see native Hong Kongers being sent to the Chinese mainland for prosecution, especially regarding crimes of political dissidents. I will however do a far more detailed video on the Chinese Triads in the future and maybe go a bit deeper into their history and current operations in the modern world. Thank you for sticking with me till the end. I hope you all found this video interesting and insightful. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I'll see you again next week with a brand new episode of the 8-Bit Academic.
So please whatever. Please I want to reach 1 million likes. So please Okay, thank you.